Good morning, home builders. It is day 10, and today's lesson is called Heart First. In this lesson, we are in Daniel chapter 1, verse 6 through 8. And this is the place where we see Daniel, and also we call them his three friends. I assume that they were friends. They were certainly acquaintances. And as Keith mentioned a couple lessons ago in Sunday school, it's kind of interesting. We know Daniel as Daniel, and that's his Hebrew name, and he was given the name Belteshazzar by the Babylonians. But then we also have the three that we know as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and that was the name given to them by the Babylonians. I don't know why we do that, but we do. Anyway, we have here the place where they're given their new names, and but more importantly, we see where Daniel, despite all of this, despite being one of the more talented, good-looking, desirable youth, most likely a teenager, of all of Judah, and being sent to the king's court, he says, I'm not going to eat the king's meat. He says he purposed in his heart not to defile himself. It was important to him to follow God's law that had been set up for him, to live a godly life, and no matter where he lived, whether it was in Judah or in Babylonia, or Babylon. This really what this talks about as far as our children go is the fact that we're going to have children with different personalities and talents. My children are the same way. I have one child that doesn't have much of a interest in athletics or much of an athletic bone in her body, and I've got another one that can do anything, it seems. And then I've got another one that is, the jury's still out. We'll see about him. But when we see our kids, we visually can perceive the talents that God has given them, and it's our, I think it's our natural instinct to foster those. We want to do everything possible to provide opportunities for them to get better, to grow, to the extreme. Sometimes parents are like, maybe they can get a scholarship or something like that. And that's the extreme. This lesson really isn't about that. What it is about is when we are considering what we want to, foster and develop in our children and give them opportunities to grow in, we need to make sure that their heart is first, because everything else comes after. Everything else really means nothing if their heart is not in the right place. We see Daniel in this book here and there all the way up into his 80s, and none of the things that we see him do or accomplish for the Lord could have been done if he didn't have the heart that was put in place early on in his life. About 5 or 6 years ago, I was a counselor or chaperone at Camp Chautauqua, and for the youth conference there, and there was a sermon preached by a guy who used to go to our church named Joe Clawwitter that was absolutely fantastic on this topic. And he talked about exactly this from this exact text, that everything that happened in Babylon happened because of their heart. And where was their heart prepared? In Judah, when they were younger. And that is that's the tool that they were allowed to, or that they were able to use, to maintain their godly life, their heart. Our home, where our children are growing right now, that's their Judah. This is the time where we need to be cultivating, doing everything we can to be cultivating their heart for the Lord. It's critical, so important, that we help them cultivate that heart. And once we do that, we will be able to get to where they're able to do great things for the Lord as they continue to grow. It is a kind of a sobering reminder for us how important the time is when our children are young. And then as they grow older, how we can, remind them and take them back to the times where they were learning that heart for the Lord. Hope that makes sense. Let me know if there's anything that you'd like to comment on with respect to that. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll see you. I will be out of town Sunday morning. I will see you Sunday night, most likely. And we'll see you then. Love you guys. Have a great day.